Alright everybody, hello and welcome as always. I'm Sean, this is In The Mixer, episode 152 of the FC Isle of Man series. If you haven't gone and watched yesterday's episode from Monday, go and check it out. Introduce you guys to the new squad, our tactic, our pre-season results, all that sort of great stuff, and a phenomenal performance in the European Super Cup. You've been a little bit spoiled with a cup final on Friday, a cup final yesterday, and it's not a cup final today, but it is history as we make our first Champions League appearance. We're going to check out the full draw and everything in this episode. Let's not waste too much time, let's jump straight in and see how we've gotten on. So, as you guys can see, just above my head here, we're currently sitting in 6th spot, which is where we've finished in the division the last 2 years, but we are only 3 games played, of course. Had a great win in the league against Brighton at home. We then won the UEFA Super Cup, followed it up with a fantastic 3-0 win over Fulham, and then, of course, newly promoted Reading have done us 2-0 at home. I'm not sure how they did it. If we look at the stats, it was all us, and if we look at the highlights, it was all us. They effectively had 2 highlights and 2 goals. They've got some good players, make no mistake about it. They've got this guy, Sam Coe, previous Chelsea player. I remember him being a wonder kid for years and years. He's decent, not a bad player. Didn't do the damage against us. It was a goal from their right midfielder, Graham, and a sub goal from Yusuf when we pushed on and went attacking a little bit in the second half. They did go down to 10 men as well with 20 minutes remaining. They still scored after that. But just one of those football manager things. You're doing quite well, you're in a good run of form, good results, and then all of a sudden you play a newly promoted side or a side down towards the bottom of the division, and they somehow turn you over. Their first win of the year, of course. I think they were bottom of the division prior to that. Otherwise, though, Chelsea have started perfectly. Arsenal haven't done too badly. United and City in and around it. You'd expect those 4 sides to be in and around the Champions League spots again this season. Bournemouth have also started strongly, 6 points from their opening 2. We're going to play them in today's episode. You're not going to see that game. We will play that one off screen, and then we're going to have a match against West Ham before our first Champions League fixture, which the draw is taking place today. Now, we, of course, qualified for the Champions League by way of winning the Europa League last season. We didn't finish in the top 4 spots in the Premier League. I do want to try and get into the top 4 for the Premier Division this season. I think that's going to be a super key and critical and important part for us. Because of that win, we are in the top group, which is great. It means we miss out on playing United, Atletico Madrid, Schalke, Roma, PSG, Feyenoord, and English reigning champions Leeds in the group stage, which is great. 3 English sides, of course, making up the group. United winning the Champions League last season, ourselves winning the Europa League, and Leeds winning the Premier League itself. So there are some big teams, though, of course, in the second pot. Real Madrid, Inter, Juventus, Barcelona's in there as well, Man City, some huge teams. Even the third pot has like Bayern Munich, Arsenal, Benfica, Wolfsburg are in there as well. They've been doing quite well in Germany over the last few seasons. And the 4th round tie, Nims are just a team that consistently is linked with all of my players. They must have a fair bit of cash going. Stuttgart, a big side in there. Celtic made the group as well. Some very, very big teams, but that's Champions League football. We're going to set this to automatic draw, and we're just going to let it play through a little bit. I won't bring you every team as it's released, but I will let you guys know the key and critical ones for our group. So last names out of the hat for the first seeds. We'll go into Group H and sit at the top of that group at the moment. Group A, immediately huge. Man United and Barcelona in that one. Atletico Madrid and Inter in Group B. PSG and Juventus in Group C. Schalke, Man City, Group D. Leeds, Napoli, Group E. Group F is Roma and Valencia. Group G is Feyenoord and Porto. And of course, we've drawn perhaps the biggest team in the world, Real Madrid, as the other side in Group H. Third round teams going through now. Group A is massive. Bayern Munich have fallen into that one as well. Couple of teams left in the hat. Wolfsburg and AEK. AEK is the better one to get. So of course we get Wolfsburg, who have done very well in the Bundesliga the last few seasons. It's going to be a tough group for us. Vitesse Arnhem going to Group A amongst United, Barcelona and Bayern. They've got absolutely no chance. A few big teams remaining. Nims and Dynamo Kiev. We've got Dynamo Kiev, which isn't the worst in the world. All right, so looking at the groups, that Group A is just phenomenal. Manchester United, Barcelona, Bayern Munich. That's a ridiculous draw. Group B, Inter Madrid and Benfica. I think Atletico are probably the better of those sides. Inter have won a few Serie A titles in the last few years. PSG, Juventus, Salzburg and Zenit St. Petersburg. That's relatively even. City and Schalke should go ahead at the expense of Anderlecht and Red Star Belgrade. Napoli, Galatasaray, FC20 and Leeds. Leeds would probably back themselves to finish second or top of that group with Napoli. Roma, Valencia, Arsenal and Celtic. You'd think maybe Roma and Arsenal. Roma, I think, are the reigning Serie A champions. But Valencia have a good team. Celtic, you never really know with them either. Feyenoord, Nims, AEK and Porto. I think maybe Nims and Porto should go through based on the reputation of their leagues. Maybe Feyenoord sneak in there as well. And then our group, Real Madrid, Wolfsburg, Isle of Man and Dynamo Kiev. If we get a good result against Wolfsburg, I think we can top the group. It'll all really come down to that big tie against Real Madrid. What does that do to our schedule? It does mean we've got Wolfsburg up top, and then we've got Real Madrid, and we round out the group stage with Dynamo Kiev, or the first legs. Then Dynamo Kiev, Wolfsburg, and finish with Real Madrid as the last last game of the group stage. That is very, very interesting stuff. What we will do is we're going to jump forward now. We'll play the Bournemouth game off screen. We'll come back, play the match away at West Ham and at the London Stadium. And then we're going to come back and do our first ever Champions League fixture as well to round out this episode against Wolfsburg at home. Champions League football on the Isle of Man for the first time in history. Magic of editing though, we're going to jump forward first to the West Ham game now. Alright, just like that, we are a couple of weeks ahead. We have had an international break in that period as well. But first, what I want to kind of close out, there's a couple of different things to recap. We'll start with the positive. Arnaud Henry has signed a new contract with us. Now, for quite a while, effectively since he joined from PSG 4 seasons ago, he's had a £97 million release clause. That has had a whole bunch of different teams sniffing around. We've had a bunch of different teams bid without hitting that £97 million. We made a promise to him last season that we'd sell him if anyone came in with £97 million. He was happy with that. He was then happy after nobody came in for about 6 months, it felt like, with that bid. Then after that, we offered him a new contract and he's just signed it, which is fantastic for us. It's a massive, massive contract. £100,000 a week, which is what he was already getting paid. A huge loyalty bonus, a big bonus for his agent as well. I'll put in additional competition bonuses. If we win any competition between now and really like 2041, he gets £100,000. I've also put in like landmark goal bonuses, which he's never going to get. He's not going to score 30 goals a season. He's a deep line playmaker, but I've put them in anyway. And it has also removed that release clause, which is absolutely huge for us. We've managed to get rid of Esteban's release clause, which is big for us. We've gotten rid of, I think, Carlos Andre's release clause. No, he's still got one, £100 million though. Abdesamad doesn't have one. He's performing very well. Does Haji have one? Haji's got one, £100 million. We'll have to try and get rid of that. Arnaud Henry's and Rivera still has one as well that we need to try and get rid of. But we're making massive improvements, getting rid of these minimum fee release clauses and actually keeping hold of our stars over a long period. Fantastic, fantastic news. On the other end, Esteban's given me some issues. We didn't sell him in the off-season. Southampton was sniffing around and actually put in a bid for him. He did in pre-season when he was away on international duty get pictured leaving a nightclub, and he's done it again the night before a game this time. AFC Bournemouth, seen leaving a bar in the early hours of the morning. He was absent for that game. We've left him out, and I'm confident now that we're going to leave him out for the next match as well. 2 times in the last 6 months that he has been fined for misdemeanors. He's lost 3 weeks' wages for those fines. I'm curious if this is just because we didn't let him go during the off-season or if he's going to snap out of it. The last player that we had that was caught leaving nightclubs, we sold immediately. Javier Aguirre, who was also Spanish, number 10 that we had when we came up from the Championship into the Premier Division. I don't know what the direct correlation is, to be completely honest. I'm not saying all Spanish players do that, but we've had 2 Spanish superstars and both of them have given us issue. He is our best defender though, so I'm kind of torn as to what we need to do. Maybe we drop him for this game against West Ham and then we maybe bring him back in for the game against Wolfsburg, depending on how we perform. I did also forget to mention we beat Bournemouth 3-1, which isn't a bad result by any stretch, but it makes me even angrier about the Reading result earlier. We did only have one issue. Lucas Gabriel picked a knock up in that match. Otherwise, it's still a pretty strong lineup. Frank Richard comes straight in on the right-hand side. It's basically a like-for-like replacement. But we'll go with Mancini in goal. Warburton will come in for Esteban and plays that left-sided defender. He played against Bournemouth and scored in that game, so he's doing quite well alongside Abdesamad, Carlos Andre at left wing-back, Fontana at right wing-back, Lindelank in midfield, and wear the captain's armband alongside new contract signing Arnaud Henry. Haji will play at the 10, Mateo on the left wing, Richard on the right, and Rivera leading the line up top. Scored against Bournemouth as well. He's in a decent little run of form. 3 goals from his opening 4 games. Fantastic to see for the little Mexican. Looking over at West Ham side, they've got some interesting players. They've got Akeem Miller, who played for us a few seasons ago. Never really made first-team appearances for us. 5 first-team appearances way back in 2031. We picked him up on a free transfer from Arsenal. He then eventually left for a free to West Ham after a couple of loan signings. Never really hit the level that we wanted him to. You can see 2.5-star current ability, 3.5-star potential despite now being 21 years of age. Solid but not spectacular. I think he was actually a Barbados youth international when we signed him. He's now made the transition to being an English player. Still only 21, which is crazy. But always interesting to see our own players come back up against us. West Ham have been relegated and promoted in the last few seasons as well. We've got this guy Joey Garrity at the back as well. Was previously, I think, a young English wonder kid. Hasn't quite materialised. 22 years of age now, 2.5-star ability and potential. Captain under 20 level, but never any further than that. Their captain, Marquez, on the right wing here. Mexican international, probably a friend of Rivera and Santana in our side. A good right winger, but nothing super spectacular. Decent passing, decent pace and acceleration, but nothing crazy that we need to be too fearful of. The best player so far this season is Francisco Valdivia, 26-year-old Spanish left winger that they picked up from Valladolid in Spain a few seasons ago. Looks like he went down to the championship with West Ham and then has come back up with them as well. Had a good championship season last year. I'm curious, did West Ham win the division last year? No, they actually finished third, so they must have come up via the playoffs. But they've been a bit of a yo-yo side in the championship twice in the last 3 years and relegated the year after that. It'll be interesting to see how they go this season as well. But again, we should be winning, so I'm going to go positive, even though we are away from home, and we are going to passionately tell everyone, or assertively tell everyone, go out there and carry straight on from where you finished the last match. And if we get a good result, it's a good start to the season for us. They've got a corner here early. Vickers to take, though. Looks towards front post, and it's flicked on near post by Adriel. First goal of the season for him. We know anything can happen when you reload a save, but that's not really actually applicable to this case, because we played Bournemouth off screen in this same session and did quite well. Keeper's come flying out for it. Mancini's still the starting goalkeeper for Argentina, but he has had a couple of little mistakes here and there early part of the season. Haji with a deep free kick towards back stick, and it's Lind who eventually had the flick on header. Keeper was scrambling, but just past the near post. Got a wide free kick again. Vickers to take. Garrity's back stick, and it's not far away. All right, we're going to use a demand more shout after about 15 minutes, just so everyone gets a handle on everything. And we might switch to attacking, because what we're doing isn't quite working. Lind with a deep free kick towards back post. Madden gets it away, but Abdesamad might put it back in. He loses out in possession. Now Valdivia has it for West Ham. Mitchell, he nearly lost the ball out there to Richard, but manages to keep possession. Finds Adriel, and it's a long ball over the top for Watson. They've gotten in behind. Thankfully, the drive not equal to the chance and well past the near post. But you can see they're just playing two very deep lines. We're going to have to try and break them down a little bit, or at least drag them out. You know what? We might switch to counter for the last few minutes of the half. Set piece scenario again, and they've got a second goal. Carlos Marquez, third goal of the season for him. It is not going particularly well. We can use another demand more shout with about 10 minutes remaining in the half. But 2 set pieces and 2 goals. West Ham are putting us to the sword. This might be one of those seasons where we do quite well against teams higher than us in the division, but then these recently promoted sides give us a bit of trouble. The West Ham coming up have already taken, are now 2-0 up against us. We already dropped points against Reading, who came up from the Championship last season as well. 2 additional minutes of injury time to be added on. At least we know what the halftime team talk will be. Aggressive. Expect to see a much better showing. Everyone responds positively. We're going to go attacking, and then I'm also going to push on the fullbacks as well. Let's set them to attack. Let's go with 2 DLPs on support in midfield, and let's just get super aggressive. Deep free kick, Carlos Andre to take. If we can get a goal early in the second half, and Rivera's gotten goal side, we might be on here. Lovely finish from Rivera. Good ball over the top from Carlos Andre. That gives us something to work with, and we've got 42.5 minutes remaining in the half, or in regular time, to really start putting some pressure on West Ham here. They left their line very high, and Rivera outside of the foot just nicks that one home near post. Good finish, and his 4th goal of the year already. Deep throw in. Andre again, starting to create quite a bit. Plays it to Haji and then gets it back. He's lost out the ball to Marquez though. Someone's got to go to the ball. No one's going to it at the moment, and thankfully the drive straight at Mancini. If he had to go on far corner there, I'm not sure what Warburton was doing, running away from the ball instead of to it. Vickers with the set piece. This is where they've hurt us in this one. Abdesamar with a good header away. And maybe this is the difference between having Esteban out there, who maybe deals with some of these set piece scenarios, and 2 younger players in Warburton and Abdesamar. But Warburton's now 21. He shouldn't really have any excuse. We're through the hour. We're going to make some subs here. What can we do to try and turn this around? Mateo hasn't had a great game. We'll bring on Paul Harold. Might put him as an inside forward on attack. Get him in the box a little bit more. Arnaud Henry not playing particularly well. Do we want to make that change? We might leave him out there and have a bit of faith in him. 2 defenders not playing particularly well. Haji not playing particularly well. Richard not playing particularly well. Maybe go with a wide sub. Maybe we take off Carlos Andre, bring on Medjadou, who is a bit more attack-minded, a fullback. Passionately, I'm going to say I've got faith in you. And then let's also use our Get Creative shout. Let's get 1 more goal, boys. Let's try and have a bit of a comeback, a bit of character. Going to use Get Creative again. 75 minutes played. We do have 1 more sub up our sleeve. And we've got a wide throw in here. Medjadou to take to Haji. Medjadou wins it back, goes back stick towards Richard. Falls to Lind at the edge of the area. Now Fontana, overlapping fullback, can get in the box. Hangs one back stick towards Harold. He's flicked on the header. It's clipped the crossbar before Garrity scrambles it away. We're going to hit pause. We've got 10 minutes remaining. Henri has not played particularly well. We might bring on Chris Miller. We might play him as a central midfielder on attack, which is his preferred role. I have faith in you. And then we've really only got 1 more shout up our sleeves. They've got a wide free kick, Madden to take for West Ham. A goal here would probably seal it for them. Does favour a right-footed player as well. Not a bad effort, just over the crossbar. Mancini did scramble to get across. We've got 1 more demand more shout up our sleeves we're going to use into the last 10 minutes though. 3 additional minutes of added time. We're focused, but we need opportunities, and the referee's called full time. It's 2 points dropped, definitely. 3 points dropped, definitely. In the end, West Ham, 14 shots, 5 on target, 39% possession. 8 shots, 3 on target, 61% of the ball. 2 sides promoted from the championship last year have taken points off us. I'm going to say aggressively, not happy with that result. And at least everyone's responded positively, which I guess is the most we can hope for. And we're not in great form heading into this first Champions League tie. It's my birthday in 2036, which is interesting, and birthday to forget. Henry needs a bit of a rest, not for the next game, but maybe the game after. And it's been linked in the press how we've absolutely drilled that team. What we might do though is we might clear out the selection entirely. We might give everyone in the squad one rest day. I know that sometimes there is occasional fatigue after like an international break. Maybe a lot of these players who do go away with their under 21, under 20 national sides are coming back a little bit tired. We'll give them a rest day. And then tactically speaking, we might go cautious away from home. First Champions League match against Wolfsburg, who last season finished 4th in the Bundesliga. We'll show them a respect, but magic of editing, we're going to jump forward, look at the 2 lineups now. Right, just like that, we are a few days ahead. Now, I've made some calls. We're going to bring Esteban back in at central defence. It's probably, if he gets caught coming out of a nightclub again, I'm just going to sell him. That's it. There's no other opportunities, but I do want to try and continue to get good results, and we've not had the greatest little run of performances in the opening games of this season. Also going to bring on Harold on the left-hand side. Matteo scored and assisted a couple in Premier Division fixtures, but he didn't do great in the UEFA Super Cup. He hasn't exactly set the world on fire. He's still only 18. He's making his way in a new country, so I'm not going to force that too much. We'll give Harold some time on this left-hand side. Richard will continue on the right. We haven't quite welcomed back Lucas Gabriel. He's really the only injury concern. But otherwise, it's pretty much an unchanged lineup from the previous fixture. Hopefully Rivera can continue scoring for us. Wolfsburg playing a very similar structure, actually, a 4-2-3-1 with one deeper midfielder, it looks like. It's hard to pick out with these teams that we don't really play against often where their best players are. Sidibe, very common regen name, right wing back, doesn't look too bad. They had a guy named Tom Fussell. I wonder if he's still there. He's on the bench for them. He was a wonder kid for years. We kept an eye on him for ages, and I kept thinking about bringing him in, but it looks like he hasn't quite hit the heights that perhaps his initial potential showed. Pedas on the left wing is their captain, Portuguese left winger. Striker by trade. They're going to play him as an inside forward, it looks like, on that left. He's an elite striker, but only 3-star current and potential ability. Not super crazy. Vranken will lead the line up top. He's a little bit better. 3.5-star current ability, 4-star potential. Decent dribbling, good first touch. Horrible finishing, though. Only 9. Not the most impressive that I've seen. Does have 4 Argentine caps to his name, though. John Musa will play at the 10. Again, 3-star current ability and potential. He's a deep line playmaker that they can play a little bit further forward. They're not super intimidating. I realize we're at home, not away, so I've switched us from cautious to attacking. You can just see that just beyond my head there. And we're going to passionately say, let's give the fans something to cheer today, and I'm going to passionately tell everyone that I've got faith in them, because really, we're playing mostly our first or full strength lineup. We should be getting better results than we have against some of the lower league sides, but maybe it's just one of those seasons where we play well against teams that try and play against us. We've immediately scored, and it's Esteban scoring. So maybe he's willing to make amends for these nightclub visits that he's had throughout the course of this season. And again, it's a set piece. Maybe if he had started against West Ham, we'd have done better from those set piece scenarios. But it's a powerful header from the Spanish John Cena, and it clips the underside of the crossbar just to add a little bit of flavour to it. There's an immediate highlight back here for Wolfsburg again, but won it back in a great area. Harji can carry the ball from halfway. Got a lot of work to do though. Wide left area, skips past one challenge, and nearly finds the absolute goal of the season. Skip past a challenger in the box and just put it beyond the far post. Real Madrid already a goal up against Dinamo Kiev. It might be that goal difference comes into it and how teams play against Kiev and how many they score. Lind back to Fontana. Cuts it back towards the edge of the area, but it's won back by Wolfsburg. Vranken now looks to hold it up on halfway and tries to send it down the left, but it's well read by Carlos Andre, who recovers possession. Back to Mancini now. Just hold the ball. Wait for them to commit. Abdesamad. Now Carlos Andre. Poor ball into midfield. Loses possession. Vranken, back to Musa. Good reverse pass to Vranken as well. Wide right area, Mancini with an excellent save. Got to be careful, boys. Can't play loose passes across the centre of the park. Petas to take the resulting corner. Towards backstick. Esteban with a powerful header away. Maybe we should be playing Esteban just for his set-piece ability. I know El Mehdi Mokhtar was decent out of the air as well, and he was a big boy. Maybe Abdesamad isn't quite the aerial presence that we need him to be, though still young enough to develop that over time. Mancini resets from a goal kick here. Lind, now Henry, good little triangle in midfield there. Send out left now to Harold. Looks for the switch towards Richard. It's headed across goal. It's hit the base of the post on its way out. Didn't look like it had too much pace on it, but the keeper scrambled and couldn't quite get there. Got another highlight here again. Throw-in starts with Fontana. Lind across to Henry. Nearly that dangerous ball in midfield again. They're definitely waiting for us to play that one across the central area, and that's when they trigger their press. Harold with possession now. Sidibe clears away, but Carlos Andre should reset and does now through Henri. Harold, wide left area. Henri, Carlos Andre with a lovely overlap. He's got a lot of work to do to keep it in. It hits the corner flag, which helps him out immediately. And then he puts it near post for Pablo Rivera to add his 5th goal of the season. Maybe a little bit fortunate the way it clipped the inside of the flag. But we'll check it out here in 3 dimensions. This ball from Rivera Henri just a little bit overdone. And then defenders kind of give up on it. It hits the post and Andre goes near post. Rivera peels off inside of the left foot. Defender was right on top of him. But he's still done very well to squeeze that one in on the near side. We need to demand more. Where was this performance against West Ham? Like, where we created so little. Maybe we need to go a bit more attacking against these newly promoted sides. Henri with possession now. Does well to keep it in traffic. Hangs one towards Rivera. It's a good flick on header just over the crossbar. Keeper again scrambling. This has been a good first half. So as halftime's called, 2-0 up. Esteban and Rivera with the goals. 8 shots, 4 on target, 57% possession for the Isle of Man. We're going to passionately tell everybody. Very happy with the performance. Keep it going, lads. And then keeping an eye on the other fixture as well. Real Madrid 3-0 up at halftime against Kiev. We'll have to keep an eye on goal difference as it continues. And it just means that those games against Real Madrid are going to be absolutely massive for our placement in the league itself. But even then, wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to drop into the Europa League, finish in 3rd. Good free kick there from Wolfsburg, cleared away by Abdesamad. Good save from Mancini again. Wasn't quite in the corners, didn't quite have the pace on it. We're through the hour mark now. Let's have a look at making some subs. We've got 2 yellow cards I think we need to be mindful of. Fontana's got 1, but we didn't put her right back on the bench because that's just who I am. Lynn's got 1 as well, so we might bring on Chris Miller for a little bit of a spell. Play him as a DLP on support alongside Henri. And then Richard also not having a great game. Maybe we bring on Mateo. Not 100% comfortable on that right-hand side, but we'll try and get some game time in him. Assertively, let's say it. We've got faith in you. And it's not a super high-pressure situation for either of them. Both, of course, making their Champions League debuts in their first season at the club. Harold nearly wins the ball back. Vishchang with a good ball into Pedas, and they've pulled one back here, have Wolfsburg. Haven't really seen too much from them. Maybe for the last half an hour, we just go positive instead of attacking. Drop off a little bit more. Hope to get some space in behind. Things still 3-0 in the Madrid-Wolfsburg game, but we are into the last 10 minutes. Sorry, the Madrid-Dinamo Kiev game. We're into the last 10 minutes. We might make our last sub here. Abdesamad hasn't played poorly, only 6.7 though. We'll bring on Warburton just to try and shore up defensively. And we're also going to use a demand more shout with about 10 minutes remaining. It'd be very frustrating to concede a second here. I think we have been the better team. 5 minutes of additional time to be added on. We're through the majority of that now without any really further highlights happening in the second half. But we do have a late corner here. Towards near post, Warburton with the flick on header just beyond far post. That would have been the sealer. And referee, feel free to blow that whistle any time. There's about 10 seconds remaining of the additional time signified. Ball's back with Wolfsburg now. Kaya with the ball. Looks to cut inside. Good tactical foul there by Carlos Andre. Just chops him down. Get 10 men behind the ball, boys. West, deep free kick. There's a lot of men offside. Pedas has picked it up. It's closed down well by Carlos Andre, and the referee calls it back for the original offside. Full time's called. 2-1 victors on the day. We made it a little bit tense there at the end, but 15 shots, 5 on target, 61% possession for Isle of Man. 10 shots, 4 on target, 39% of the ball for Wolfsburg. Good win, boys. Well done. We'll take the 3 points, and that's probably very big in terms of the second place or third place finish. Even if Madrid win all their games, we've still done quite well winning our own. Some big results around the place as well. Barcelona beating Vitesse in that group of death. Bayern Munich beating United 4-1 in Germany. PSG thumping Juventus. Big wins for City, Schalke and Leeds in their first appearance in Europe in quite a while, away to Galatasaray. And Madrid winning 3-0 will put them above us in the group itself. Carlos Andre gets the man of the match award, a 7.6 match rating for him. Frank Richards got a tight calf, which isn't great. And £2.32 million puts us for the first time, I think, back up into positive bank balance. We do. We've got an overall bank balance now of £11 million, which is phenomenal considering where we were 12 months ago. Hopefully that will continue as the season goes on. And I think maybe, even though his discretions are very annoying, maybe Esteban comes back into the side. Looking forward to our schedule. There's one big game, which of course we're going to try and bring you guys, and that is this match against Real Madrid. I think we'll also try and do the away game against Man United. I know we just played them, but it's always a good trip and a big game travelling to Old Trafford. So we might play 2 absolute monster games in tomorrow's episode to bring you as much early season football as we can. You guys will of course have to tune in to check out how we go in those games. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. That is the part that I appreciate the most. If you wanted to be like a super fan, go that extra mile to support the content, you can drop a like on this video. Pleases that YouTube algorithm, gets us higher in search results when people look for Football Manager content. Or you can also subscribe to the channel to be kept up to date on all of our future videos, which will continue to release Monday to Friday all the way up until the release of Football Manager 2021. We do have, in a couple of weeks, coming up another One Season Wonder Save. If you've got suggestions of One Season Wonder Saves that you want to see, drop it in the comment section below. We have had a couple of great suggestions that I'm trying to figure out how to get them to work. But as always, more than anything, I just appreciate you guys watching. I've been Sean, and I'll see you all again in the mixer.